to Solh Talks today. We have a very interesting guest with us, our founder, Dr. Tarun Sehgal, who is himself a psychiatrist. So I first of all welcome you to today's Solh Talk. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks, Kavya.
It's such a pleasure to have the founder today here and for the session. So I'll just introduce the name of the session to our audience, which is Masculinity as a Barrier to Mental Health. We always have heard the term men and mental health don't go equally. And I think somehow I believe it because when it comes to women, they're very easily able to talk about their mental health as compared to men. Do you believe that?
I would say I think it's a well-known fact actually, and there are sort of evidence around that as well. So yes, I think men in general they are far less likely to seek help for their mental health challenges, and this is something what we know is not stick to certain age group. It's irrespective of the ages, irrespective of ethnicity or their background, and this is in general we tend to see as a worldwide phenomena that it's not uncommon. Yeah.
So what could be a reason for it? Why is it easier for women to talk about their mental health and why is it not easier for men? Because generally, if I see my friend who's a girl, she'll be able to talk about the fact that she's feeling a little anxious. But if I go to a friend who's a boy, he might feel that talking about his mental health is also harming his masculinity. Do you think that's a reason why they don't talk much?
Yeah, I won't disagree with that to start with. I think that this is one of the things which you have already sort of mentioned as the masculinity. Uh, and I think in some ways, this is how our society is. And like in general, it's a very what we call patriarchal society where we do see sort of as the man as the person who is a strong, who is a protector, who kind of has a role of giving that safety and protection. And and that's how it just goes in most of the societies worldwide. So of course in India we are not alone. It's something we see everywhere. It's a kind of as a sort of as man as a symbol of that strong, and mental health is considered as something which is a weakness in some way, and 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 that's what prevents people in some way accepting. And what we know that there's a sense of denial as well, and because the whole sort of upbringing, the whole thinking behind is there that yes, as a man I'm strong, and then having this that in some way in mental health things are not going well, and it gets very much as subconscious for them or hidden in their mind, because as an individual I'm quite strong person, and how can I have a problem with mental health, which is I should be strong about. So very much people can go in denial with that as well. So so these are the things we get to see. Of course, in general, what we also know, mental health, there's a huge stigma around mental health, and it's not easy to talk to someone when you have mental health problem. And this is something we see sort of among all of us. It's not just about men, but men in general with other factors, the way society is set up, the way expectations are from men, that is something again makes it much more harder for men to sort of come forward and talk about these things.
So
Yeah.
how do you think about the fact how do Solh app comes in help for men to speak out about their mental health?
I think that the best thing about Solh app, and this is one of the reason sort of worked with the team and wanted this to be there, is around sort of destigmatizing mental health within society. And even if people are not sort of able to talk freely, we give them a platform, an open opportunity to ask questions. And nevertheless, even if they don't want to declare their identity, they can be anonymous on our platform, but still they can gain awareness, they can gain sort of help for themselves, and they can get that sorted in a very confidential way through the app. And that's where the Solh app comes in for us.
Right.
There's one thing which I want to put it there as well. We know that about men, there's men don't talk, but most of the serious incident or the suicide related to mental health, almost 3 out of 4 are men involved in those sort of that kind of serious suicide incidents. So it is there, and we need to sort of speak a lot about men's mental health. And this is one of the months of November where we talk about men's health, and mental health is part of the holistic approach towards their health. So yeah,
And I think it's very important and to address about this topic mental health right now, because it is something that a lot of people might not be able to talk about. And as you mentioned, Soul App is a place where you can come up and talk about it anonymously. I think that's a huge thumbs up, because
yeah.
teenagers and people like us, it's very difficult to openly talk about it. And apps like Soul App is a great help. So hats off to you for creating that and your team for making sure that we have a platform that we can come up and talk about it. So let's move forward. So shall I move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Do you think if men won't talk about their issues related to mental health, do you think it will affect their mental health even more, and how will it affect basically?
So yeah, I think it's there. Mental health. If someone has a mental health problem, it's important to get it addressed. Early interventions have shown much more benefit in addressing. The longer we live, it's much more harder to treat. The longer it takes to get better. So of course, the early intervention part is quite important. And overall, with men's mental health, there's something what we see as a trend that generally men, when they have mental health problem, they present in more of their physical symptoms in some way, that they talk maybe more about feeling tired, or you will find them getting irritable in their mood, or they tend to kind of externalize sort of their problem in a way. You see that as anger, or may get involved in more risk-taking behavior, or maybe getting involved in using substances or alcohol or other substances. You might see that get increased for them. And in some way or form, somehow in society, those things can be perceived as that, look, this person is not good. You need to keep away from that person. And somehow the mental health get more subsided, more in the background, and not get seen as these could be sign of them coping with their
Right.
underlying mental health problem. And these are the things which we want to sort of make sure that we bring that awareness. And Soul App is one of those places we try to connect to right professionals, through right psychiatrists, psychologists, to help them through these things. So yeah, that's one way to sort of identify and help them with these problems, to prevent getting it worse for them.
Yeah, I think identifying on the first place is a very important part, because if you are not able to identify the fact you're suffering from some mental health issue, you will never be able to get help, because you will never know the fact that you're suffering from mental
Yeah.
health issues. So, any tips and tricks that you would like to share with people who are thinking that they're suffering from some mental health issue? What should they do basically? What should the first step should be?
I think it's about be honest to your own self and try to identify, is there any change in the pattern of behavior? Is there any change in the pattern of their mood had been recently? And identifying and be honest in relating to their own normal self, that look, there's something different about me. I'm not the same the way I used to be few weeks or months back. There's something I need to look into identifying about myself. And the things I was saying earlier, like if you're noticing more of your physical health symptoms, but you can't find any physical health problem, or getting angry about things, getting involved more into kind of using substances or things like that. Or, of course, overall, if you see your level of functioning, your productivity in routine is going down, there's something to look into that. Is this about my own mental health? Do I need something to do about my mental health? Need some more help to get that better? And then these are the things, of course, our aim is to bring this awareness in society through our Soul App, and do whatever, wherever possible, to spread that openness within society about mental health. Yeah.
Right. So that is what a person can do for his own self, to identify and to see what is happening. But what if the person is not able to identify on his own? And how can people around
Yeah.
him identify for him? How they can help?
Yeah. And I think in the very similar way, people around can see as well, is are there any changes to this particular person?
Right.
And as our loved one, as our friends, family, rather than seeing that behavior as the part of that this person is not getting in norms with the expected level of functioning within society, maybe giving them a helping hand to get them engaged to the right professional and seek that help for them along with them and supporting them. And I think that this is the role as sort of family, as friends we have got for our own loved ones. And when we work together as a team, provide that support, and these are the things we see that people do engage and receive, and things are more acceptable than in society. And mental health problems are well recognized problems. They're not alone. Like, it's much easier to identify, yes, there's a diabetes or high blood pressure. It's easy to get checked and you know the result of it. But mental health, it's so difficult sometimes that you need to work as a group, as a team, to help the individual and to support that individual, getting them better, getting the right professional help. Yeah.
So, is there anything that you practice for your own self to improve your mental health? Is there anything that you do day to day on a day to day basis to have a better, improved mental health?
Look, one of the best thing is under the word called mindfulness. So mindfulness is something about that how an individual just focus themselves in one particular thing and take their mind off all the other things or all other thoughts from their mind. And that gives in general the relaxation what mind needs time and time again. And that mindfulness can be in any way or form. And that can be like, people like to do painting, or you would like to listen to music, you want to get involved in some kind of hobby, you want to play some sports, you it can be numerous things actually. Or some people prefer doing meditation, some people engage in yoga, you want to go to gym. But whatever you're doing, you are just thinking that particular thing at that particular moment, and you're not distracted by lots of other thoughts or stress in your mind. And that gives a kind of a recovery phase to individual to get better within their mood for themselves. The other thing, what helps is having a good structure routine, having a good hour of sleep every day, having a routine to sort of function on daily basis, checking what you're eating, on your appetite, on your diet, and those things sort of in general rules around health and well-being, they help. And if you have a happy body, your mind will be happy as a result of it. So happy mind lives in a happy body. So it's as simple as that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I truly believe that happy mind, happy body, happy you. So, I think that's the quote of the day as well. Happy mind, happy body, happy you. So, anyway,
That's it. Yeah.
let's move forward. So, is that true? Your sleep cycles also identify the fact that you're suffering from some mental health issue?
Yeah, in most of the mental health problem, actually, you will see as the early warning sign, or one of the early warning sign is around problem with sleep. And whether it is related to depression, whether it's about anxiety, whether it's about any kind of psychotic illness or stress related disorders or PTSD, or you will see problem with sleep is one of the sign. And that's my experience is it's about that your mind is not at rest. And when the mind is not at rest, when it's not relaxed, it's very hard to get a decent sleep. And when the sleep is not there, you're not getting enough rest to your mind, to your body. You tend to feel much more tired in yourself on the next day. Your energy levels will be low and much harder to get through your next day the way you would like to do. And if the results are not achieved in whatever way you want to do, you will see that level of confidence and the motivation will start going down over a period of time. So sleep is one of those signs actually to start with. So it's very important to give enough time to yourself, sleep better, do everything what is good for sleep hygiene. And these are the things we have put down in our app, as well as the lifestyle health choices and the goals one can work towards. These are very simple things. We are not sort of doing any rocket science there, but what would like people to follow those simple things, work for their own self, and make their sort of whole health as a better health for them, including their mental and physical health for them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a feature as well for mood tracking. Does that also play a very important role in tracking the fact of how their mental health is going on?
Yeah. So mood tracking is one way. You can sort of look through the app, you can check, and you can have a record of it. You can go back after sort of weeks or months to look at how you have been sort of recording your mood. The other important aspect is about your own diary, and diary is a reflective piece of work. We want to have it there in our app, that as we go along, when we do have sort of a lot of stress going on, sometimes just having a reflection of our routine, our own activities, the way we have been functioning is a good way of having sort of peace and reasoning with our own self, and then working with the better plans for the future, not to repeat the similar things which you find stressful, or how you can prevent such kind of incidents which make you stressful in the long term. So that is one way through the diary part as well, which is a very reflective piece of work we wanted to create through this app. And that is something, if you want, you can share that diary note with someone, you can share with your friends, or you can share in general with the public, or you can keep it very much private. And this is all to your choice. How would you like to share that particular part? But something you can go back at any point. This will store in the system for you, in your app, in your personal app for you. And that is something you can work towards. Sometimes it is even beneficial when you're working with a psychologist or psychiatrist. You can have a daily record of how things have been for you during the period of your consultations with them. And say after a week or so, you're going back to them, you can always take back and say, look, this is how I had been for the last 7 days. This is how my mood had been. And these are the reflection of some of the things which I have been on the daily basis. And that's really helpful to give very specific piece of information back to your sort of professional therapist as well, or to your psychiatrist to work on. And you can work through your goals as well, and you can see through that over a period of time how you're improving on these things. So that's one of the simple ways of making things happen for a betterment in the long term.
So, from your conversation that we are having right now, I understand the importance of writing. I think it is a very important part and it helps to improve the mental health as well. So, it could be a tip for our audience as well to just write it down and pour the heart out. So, we are moving
Yeah.
to the final and the last segment of our chat show, which is there to all the people who are going through the tough times with mental health, all the men out there, is there any message that you would like to say?
Uh, what I would like to say is, I think you're not alone if you have been going through. And most of the mental health problems are more and more commonly found within society, even though we know that the level of sort of incidence of these some of the mental disorders may be higher uh, in the initial stages within female gender, but not necessarily. I think overall prevalence over a period of time, you will see that it's getting more and more equally distributed now. So I think it's getting common, and people, the more people talk about it, the earlier you talk about it, the better chances of having uh, sort of getting it improved earlier on. And early intervention is generally the first and the best strategy. Prevention is even better. So getting involved in mindfulness, getting involved in healthy living habits, and identifying your own self, what things work for you, what doesn't work for you, makes it much easier in the long term. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part today, and we learned a lot. I hope the audience did too. And if you have any further questions from Dr. Tarun, please make sure to DM us on our social platform, and we'll make sure that we reply you very soon. And stay connected. And thank you so much, Dr. Tarun, for being a part. It was such an informative session. Thank you so much for being here. And we shall see our audience very soon into the next session. So have a great day, everybody, and thank you so much. You were a wonderful audience.